AT&T addressing the copper theft in our community. This is at an epidemic state, and we've had a press conference and 2 other meetings. We've also formed a task force to address this matter. We have Ronnie Dedman and another representative from AT&T here tonight. So if you will, council members, I'm going to let them speak to you just to bring you up to date on what we've done, what we're doing, and what this will look like as we move forward. We've tried to put a spotlight on this problem because the only way we can resolve it or slow it is that we get help from the entire community. So, Mr. Dedman.
Mayor, members of the City Council, thank you all for having me. Ronnie Dedman, I'm former president, AT&T Arkansas, retired now, and I am a consultant for AT&T. And with me is Mr. D'Angelo Brown, who is the regional network manager for AT&T for this area. I've worked for AT&T for over 40 years, and this copper theft issue, Mayor, that you mentioned has been something that I've dealt with for many, many, many of those years. From every corner of this state, we have had this problem, but I will tell you that it's never been to the level that it is here currently in Pine Bluff. You used one of my words that I've used before. It's reached epidemic proportion here in Pine Bluff. We at AT&T take these thefts and vandalism to our network real serious, very serious. It impacts public safety. It impacts you at home, hospital potentially, fire department potentially. These thieves that steal this copper are not mindful, you all, of any of that. All they want is what they see as a piece of gold, and that's this. This is a 300 pair cable that AT&T has around the city. This services 300 customers. We have some pairs of cable that service 1,800 customers. The thieves, by night or day, doesn't matter, whenever they think they can get away with it, will go out and they will cut a section probably a little bit longer than this, or whatever they can get, and they'll take it somewhere and they'll sell it, and they'll get their $20 or $30 from selling this cable. For us, it's a serious, generally restoration effort. It takes more than just twisting a couple of wires to restore you back to service. And we've had occasions here in town where they have cut the line, stolen the cable. D'Angelo will send out his team to restore it. We'll have it just about restored, and they'll cut it again like a thief in the night. And that causes us many hardships. Like I said, it's a burden on you all, but from our perspective, in the last 90 days, it has cost AT&T roughly $250,000 in terms of restoration. I'll give a shout out to the police department and the sheriff department for working with us on trying to catch these thieves. We really appreciate that effort. There are laws on the books right now that will deal with these criminals that are stealing this copper. There was legislation passed in 2013, and then there was further legislation passed in 2019 that has to do with providing punishment for people, number one, stealing this, and then also when they steal it, they got to get rid of it somewhere. So they're taking it somewhere and selling it. If it's to a scrap yard, there are laws in place that govern what they're supposed to do in order to buy scrap material. I hope they're following their procedure. They may or may not be. We're pretty serious about this to the extent that we're offering a $5,000 reward for any arrest or convictions of people that are stealing cable from us. So we're pretty serious about this. One more comment that I'll make and then I'll sit down. But I really appreciate the partnership that we have formed here in Pine Bluff with the mayor and others. We came to the mayor several weeks back, and the mayor did not hesitate in recognizing what the problem is, and we started looking for solutions. The best solution is a team effort here. AT&T wants to and is a willing partner with the city of Pine Bluff, with law enforcement, and then also we need help from the community. If you see something suspicious, don't be afraid to call the police. If you see black smoke in the air, so what they do with this is they take this somewhere and they burn off this outside cover to get to the copper that's inside. So generally there's black smoke in the air. If you see something, say something. So I'm just very appreciative that the mayor has given me, as a representative of AT&T, just a few minutes to come before you all to let you know, number one, how serious this problem is, and then number two, Mayor, we certainly appreciate the partnership with you, the city, and others. Thank you. I mean, I'll entertain any questions if you all have any.
Yeah, I have a question. Would you show that to the citizens out there too? And what gauge is that? Is that a certain, I know it's a gauge. Is that that wire?
24 gauge is what the
24
expert
gauge?
told me.
So that carries a lot of electricity.
It's just a lot
Not
of pieces
electricity.
out of there.
Huh?
Yeah, not electricity. Yeah, we don't have any power on, this is just communication
It's
services.
copper, okay.
Yeah,
So that's, what gauge was that?
24.
So you got anything bigger than that?
Yes. Yeah, but this is what it looks like.
And some of what they get is larger than that, but he just brought that to show that was service, that gauge was service 300 residents.
And then we have a bigger pipe, so to speak, that will serve 1,800 customers and so on and so forth. So appreciate the help. Yes, sir.
So that could be anywhere along, so it's that thick in most places along the path, and it just kind of branches off, or?
Well, we've got cable like this all across the city that they are cutting sections of and taking it somewhere. We also have a service center over off of Beach Street where we warehouse a lot of material like this, and they have been there on site cutting the fence, cutting the gate, getting in there, stealing some of this material.
Wow.
Did anyone from the audience have a question for Mr. Detman? Yes, ma'am. Will you stand?
I live at 29th and Cedar. Where is mine? Where's mine? Where would mine be located?
Probably somewhere overhead.
But
Mostly, most of what we have in place, we have some of this that is buried underground, but then the poles that you see and the strands of wire all over town, then yours is somewhere in your area.
anchored on what? Anchored on what?
The poles.
The pole.
Yes, ma'am. The poles.
Is there a particular area of town that is getting more of this than others?
I would say no. Just wherever they think and feel comfortable stealing this, they have done so. And it's been all over town.
So would that be hot?
No, there's no power on this at all.
Okay. If there are no more questions, Mr. Detman, thank you so very much. We'll keep you all posted as we move forward with working to resolve this problem.
Thank you, Mayor,
Thank you
and,
so
and
much.
members of the City Council.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
very
Thank you.
appreciative. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to move into our agenda with our committee reports. Our first report will come from Councilmember Brown Jr., who will be substituting for Councilmember Mays, Ways and Means.
Thank you, Mayor. Ways and Means met just before this council meeting. Tonight, we have 5 budget adjustments. This first budget adjustment is coming from the Street Department. The total budget adjustment is $363,886. It is coming from various line items, and it is going to, as well, to various line items within that department. I move that we approve this budget adjustment.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second that we approve a budget adjustment coming from the street department. This is to pay various bills to carry them through the end of the year in the amount of $363,886. The floor is open for questions. Discussion, hearing none. All in favor of this budget adjustment, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Budget adjustment approved.
Second budget adjustment is coming from cemetery. Total budget adjustment is $15,000. This is coming from within their budget. It is coming from grave service, salaries, and auto purchase, and it is going to repair and maintenance grounds. I move that we approve this budget adjustment.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that a budget adjustment coming from cemetery going to ground maintenance in the amount of $15,000 be approved. The floor is open for a discussion. Questions? Hearing none. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Budget adjustment approved.
Third budget adjustment is coming from the fire department. This is an Act 833 grant. The total is $191,762.27. This is just moving it from grant revenue to grant expense. I move that we approve this budget adjustment.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that a budget adjustment from the Act 833 funds be moved into the budget in the amount of $191,762.27. The floor is open for discussion. Any questions? Hearing none. All in favor of this budget adjustment, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Budget adjustment approved.
Fourth budget adjustment is coming from the executive department. This is for Healthy Babies Bright Futures Grant. The total budget adjustment is $15,000, and this is simply moving it from grant revenue to grant expense. I move that we approve this budget adjustment.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second. In the top line, it's been moved and properly second that this budget adjustment amount of $15,000, at the top, it says $25,000 in the grant fund. Is that the total in that fund? Joe?
Yes, it's 25.
Who? Gina, can you look at this budget adjustment, please? At the top, it says the adjusted amount is $25,000, but then the grant revenue amount, I just noticed that. I don't know, I looked at this earlier, but I didn't catch that.
It is 25,000.
Total budget adjustment is
So the total
25,000.
budget adjustment should be 25 instead of 15?
Yes.
So we
Okay.
need to make that correction?
So total budget adjustment will be $25,000, and that is coming from grant revenues, and it is going to grant expense. That's $25,000.
Okay. So it has been moved and properly second that we move $25,000 from grant revenue to grant expense for the Healthy Babies Futures Grant. The floor is open for a discussion. Questions? Hearing none. All in favor of this budget adjustment, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Budget
Aye.
adjustment approved.
Fifth and final budget adjustment is coming from building maintenance. Total budget adjustment is $13,700. It is coming from repair and maintenance of machinery, electric expense, and electric expense Bank of America building. It's going to various line items within the department. I move that we approve this budget adjustment.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that a budget adjustment coming from building maintenance in the amount of $13,700 be approved. The floor is open for questions.
Yes, on the electric expense, that's $6,200?
Bank of America.
It's coming from there.
That was money that he had extra that he's putting into the janitorial contract, telephone bank, alarm, and the first water alarm. That was an alarm that was put in. So it's not spent, that was overage. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor of this budget adjustment, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Budget adjustment approved.
Mayor, that concludes Ways and Means.
Thank you, Councilmember Brown Jr. Next, we'll move to ordinances and resolutions. Substituting for Councilmember Mays will be Brown Jr.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinances and resolutions met just before this council meeting. Tonight, originally, we had 4 items on the agenda. Number 1 has been pulled, and so what we are left with are 3 resolutions that will be completed tonight. And that concludes ordinances and resolutions.
Thank you, Councilmember Brown. Public Health and Welfare, Economic and Community Development,
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Brown Sr.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
On October 31st, Community Development met with our budget hearings, and we had a very nice meeting. Looking forward to the Ways and Means. But there's something I'd like to say. The biggest community development is that I found out that Glenn Brown Sr. is going to be running for 3rd Ward Alderman. And I understand that he has been very trustworthy. He's very honest. He's carried himself in a political way of speaking for the people. And his old motto is always that you can't beat me loving Pine Bluff, Arkansas. But I do know this, that the mayor and the private group have been rounding up candidates to run against me. But I just want to say that I'm going to continue to vote my conscience
Excuse me, that is
and
an
do the right
accusation
and do the
that
right
you don't
thing
need
and
to
do the
make.
right thing that I'm supposed
And
to do.
this is supposed
as
to
a
be a
candidate.
committee
As a
report and not a
candidate,
campaign speech.
Excuse me, Mayor. When I have the floor, and this is what I mean by handling myself in a political manner. When I have the floor, then I have the floor. When I finish speaking, then you can speak. But you did give me permission to speak.
I gave you permission
Okay,
to
very
give
good,
your
very good.
committee
So I did-
report.
So I'm not out of order, Mayor. So, that's why I have learned to be very political. And anytime somebody interrupts me, then that person is out of order. And I have not taken but a minute and a half or 2 minutes of your time. It's not like it's 20 minutes. So please understand what I'm saying. I will continue to do what I think is best for this city and in a very political fashion. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Let's have our next report. Public Health and Welfare Committee report, please.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mayor. On October 31st at 9 a.m., we had our committee budget hearing, and all went well with our departments. I'm grateful for that. I did mention in those meetings that it's very important to me that we, as a whole, for our whole city, improve our technology, because I've been on some conference calls and some webinars in reference to artificial intelligence and how it's affecting our technology and how it's affecting even our voting process, how it's affecting our daily lives. And the Council on Foreign Relations in the White House is very concerned about it, and they want us on a local level to be abreast of the situation and do our best to make sure that we know what is going on in that area. So going forward, as I continue to join those webinars, I will go more into detail in regards to it. That is my report, Mayor.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Frazier. Our next report will come from Councilmember Shiner, Public Works.
Thank you, Mayor. Public Works met on November the 1st. We had our budget hearing, and also we had another meeting. We discussed the resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with Shields and Associates for construction work regarding Phase 2 of Streetscape, and that passed with a due pass to send to the full council. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilmember Shiner. Our next report will come from Development and Planning, Councilmember Lockett.
Thank you, Mayor. The Development and Planning Committee met on Tuesday at 1 o'clock to approve the budget request from the mayor's budget I'm proud to say that we approved all the requests without any major hiccups, but we were able to fund all of our projects such as the downtown development and regional planning, and we were able to fund all of our projects, the 60 Main project and the go-kart track, the Delta Relevant Values. So we're pretty well funded for the duration, and I'm glad to say that it looks like it's a good budget. That concludes my report, Mayor.
And those recommendations will be approved after we go through Ways and Means and
Yes,
present
ma'am.
before the council. Okay, and we hope to do that, go through Ways and Means on this week, and then hopefully we'll be ready to present to the council at the next council meeting. Okay. Thank you, Councilmember Lockett. Our next report will come from Traffic and Aviation, Councilmember Bronson.
Thank you, Mayor. Traffic and Aviation, we held our budget hearing meeting on October the 30th, and we had a really good meeting with Greater Field Airport with Mr. Doug Hale. We did approve the requested adjustments that needed to be made to that budget, but other than that, everything is a go, and we're in good shape. And I plan to have our next Traffic and Aviation meeting on next week, but I'll get with the clerk on that to get it out to everyone so they can know when that is. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilmember Bronson. Administration, Councilmember Holcomb Jr.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, loud and clear.
All right. Okay, all right. The administration committee held its budget committee meeting on November the 2nd, on last Thursday. Everything went with a due pass to come before Ways and Means. And I want to just thank everyone for making the Ward 1 block party a success. Thanks to the council, the city, the entire community. And I'm just grateful for everyone for their partake in making that block party a success. And that concludes my report.
I'm sorry.
That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilmember. That was something crawling on me. I'm sorry about that. Thank you, Councilmember Holcomb. And the block party was amazing. I think a lot of you council members were able to make it. I don't know if you didn't make it, you missed a treat. So last year's block party for Ward 1 was good. What did you think about it, Councilmember?
I thought it was great.
Bronson?
I thought it was great. That was my second time. I attended last year as well. So me and Councilmember Holcomb always work really well together. So I was excited that we went out into the community and people came out to support the efforts that we're trying to do to bring the community and the city together. So thank you again, Councilmember Holcomb, for doing that. And next year it'll keep getting bigger and better.
Very good, very good. All right, and we want to
Thank
thank
you.
with Councilmember Holcomb is not in the room, but I know he thanks the general public for your support of the Ward 1 block party. Our next report will come from Public Safety, and that will come from Brown Jr.
Thank you, Mayor. Public Safety has not met since the last council meeting, but we will have our budget meeting tomorrow. They have it down at 11. Well, no, but they had a Zoom meeting at 11, and kind of have a little bit of conflict with that. So they had that first meeting with Judge Brown at 11.
We can make adjustments. We'll
Okay.
see. You have that's
But
a
1
conflict
o'clock.
for you.
Yes, ma'am. I'd rather start at 1 o'clock. They had one meeting at 11, and then it skipped to 1. And so that's why.
That was because that was when Judge Brown said he could meet. So we'll talk to him
Okay.
and see when we can adjust that.
Okay, so 1 o'clock.
So-
1 o'clock. No, I got an email early. I don't know if you had a chance to see it. So
And I think he can come on in at 1 o'clock because it won't take long.
no, it should
So
not.
we'll make that adjustment. So we'll just start at 1 o'clock.
And we can
instead
make
of
him
11
first
o'clock.
if he needs
But
to.
he could not make the 1 o'clock is what I think the problem was. That's the reason we were doing the 11 o'clock soon.
Okay. Now, and another thing, if he does not have any changes that he's trying to make to the budget, then he may not have to be there
Yeah.
if there's no changes, if he's accepting the budget the way it is.
We'll make that adjustment tomorrow morning.
Yes, ma'am. Right, unless he just has a direct
We'll see if
request.
you can do that at 1 o'clock. That won't be a problem. Okay?
Okay,
All
so
right.
otherwise, the meeting starts at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay? And that concludes my report. And also, let me say this, that our regular public safety meeting, I will schedule it at a different time because we have dealing with budgets right now, so we will have a public safety meeting at some point in the future. Yes, sir.
Yes, normally, planning and development meets at 1 o'clock on Tuesdays following the council meeting. Madam Mayor, we'll get with the clerk.
Can we waive that this time so we
We
can
can
finish our
maybe
budget?
do next month.
Will?
We could probably combine December and November.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank
So I
you.
just want to make sure we having public safety 1 o'clock on Wednesday or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Okay, then I need to change.
I think the email,
That was sent out to you today.
yeah, email just went out this afternoon, so.
Okay.
I'm sorry? The 7th, yes, ma'am.
Is that gonna work? That's tomorrow. Yes, okay, that'll work. Thank you.
All right, and that concludes
Okay,
my
let's move
report.
into our proposed ordinances. We have 3. We'll do those, then I'll do my announcement, and then we'll move into our public speakers. Proposed ordinances and resolutions, Councilmember Brown Jr.
Thank you, Mayor. First, we have a resolution reappointing Lloyd Franklin Sr. to the Urban Renewal Agency Board.
Whereas the term of Lloyd Franklin Sr. as a member of the governing board of the Urban Renewal Agency has expired, and whereas in accordance with ACA 14-169-710D, the agency's board has designated Mr. Franklin for reappointment to another term, and Mr. Franklin has expressed the willingness to serve. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, that the appointment of Lloyd Franklin Sr. to the Urban Renewal Agency Board to serve a term to expire September 30th, 2028 is approved and confirmed.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we approve a resolution of reappointing Lloyd Franklin Sr. to the Urban Renewal Agency Board. The floor is open for questions. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of this resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That was Councilmember Holcomb. Any opposed? Resolution approved.
Next, we have a resolution adjusting residential garbage rates.
Whereas under the city's agreement with Waste Management of Arkansas to provide waste and garbage collection within the city, an allowance is made annually based on agreed criteria tied to the Consumer Price Index to be implemented on the contract's anniversary date of November 1st. And whereas the city's ordinance requires that the costs of collection and the amount received from customers be sufficient to cover the costs of the contract to the city. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, that the residential rate for waste and garbage collection within the city is hereby increased from $19.40 per month per occupied unit to $20.22 per month per occupied unit effective immediately. This reflects an increase of 4.2% over the previous rate for 2022. The city clerk shall mail a true copy of this resolution to Waste Management of America of Arkansas and Liberty Utilities Incorporated promptly after it has been approved by the mayor and recorded of record.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that a resolution adjusting residential garbage rates be approved. And this is in connection with the Consumer Price Index rate. The floor is open for discussion. Council
Ma'am,
member?
Is there a way that I can get a copy of the waste management agreement?
Yes,
Okay,
we can get that to you.
that's all I had.
Just remind us to give that to you
Yes, ma'am.
tomorrow. Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of this resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution approved.
All right, agenda item number 4, we have a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with Shields and Associates for construction work regarding Phase 2 of the streetscape project.
Whereas after public advertisement soliciting interested vendors to submit proposals for needed construction work regarding the city's streetscape project, the firm of Shields and Associates submitted the lowest, most responsible bid for the work. And whereas a contract should be executed with the firm. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Section 1, that the mayor is authorized to execute a contract with Shields and Associates to perform the needed construction work regarding the city's streetscape project consistent with the city's bid solicitation, the vendor's bid submission, and for other terms and conditions consistent with the work of this nature. Section 2, the consideration to be paid by Shields and Associates for the work is the sum of $2,386,462.50.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second that a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with Shields and Associates for a construction work regarding Phase 2 of the streetscape project be approved. The floor is open for discussion.
Just a correction, a comma should be after the vendor's bid. And then I just have a question because I'm new to all of this. So the deductive alternative number 1, what is that? And does that mean that they will take some of it from those 2 line items, number 3 or 16, as an alternative if we decided, or if something comes up? I mean, I'm trying to understand that part of it.
Mr. Matthews, are you here? That deductive alternative.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. Those are what we call deductive alternates. We took bid on the entire project, which was the 2,300,000 some odd money. If we chose to take those items out, they would come off that cost.
Okay.
We chose to left them in. The project will go better if we have the one contractor do it all rather than pull those out and ask the street department or outside contractor to do it.
Okay.
So we have the funds are available, so we felt that it would be good to let the contractor do the entire project.
Okay, and then, and it might not be none, but I see this small print that says correction due to math error. Are there some corrections in there, or is that just for in case? I mean, I see that little line item right there.
Well, when we took the bids, the engineer went back through, make sure all the math lined up, so there may have been some corrections made in the total, but that is the contract price. That won't change unless there's a change order.
Okay, that's all I had.
Mr. Matthews,
Sir,
how are you?
I'm well, sir.
The $2,716,000. If we could next time, can we raise this up some? That's a lot of money to be having all these numbers packed on this page.
You mean the print?
Yeah, the print.
Okay. Yes, sir. That's no problem. I thought about that after it went out, but I will get you a larger version.
I mean, you're talking $2 million, and it's like jumbled up.
Yeah, those are the line items. When they bill us, we would take those line items out as we go. Typically, don't give it to you in that form, but I thought it would be good this time to kind of let you see how the bids are recorded and what the values are.
I'm just saying, you do a great job, but the professionalism, it has to come past us. And, thank you.
We'll take care of it. No problem.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Mr. Matthews, what's the timeline on start, date, and possible completion?
Once we get the council approval, we will have what we call a pre-construction meeting. When we have a pre-construction meeting, we'll sign the contract at that point. The contractor will have 30 days to get his bonds and the insurances in. He will have an additional 30 days after that to get the notice to proceed. So we will, it's 60 days out from where we are tonight.
That's it. That's what I was looking for. And it's looking like this is going to be maybe a 12-month project?
Yes.
And I did have one more question. I know you mentioned it in one of our other meetings, but where does the second phase start and stop again?
This is from 4th Street to 8th Street, which will also include improvements to the railroad crossing. We'll get new railroad signal lights, pedestrian crossings. The railroad is working with us on that portion of the project. They will do the work,
right?
But we will have new railroad crossings there.
Okay, that's all I needed. Thank you.
Okay.
And it was a good time because they were getting ready to do the upgrades anyway, so it's
Yeah.
perfect timing.
I'm not sure, once we run the numbers, we will probably come back with the budget adjustment to put the money into the project. We have the funds, we just have to appropriate it.
Any other questions for Mr. Matthews?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Matthews.
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion in reference to this resolution?
No, ma'am.
If not, let's vote. All in favor of this resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Was that question, Holcomb?
He said aye.
Oh, aye, okay. Resolution approved. Okay.
Oh, we have announcements.
That concludes our ordinances and resolutions.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right.
I know you were going into your announcements. So.
I'm going into my announcements. Okay. Each one of you should have a copy well, let me introduce someone to you because I've been intending to do this and we haven't been able to get this done. As you know, Mr. Tom Bennett, who was our street department director, went back into retirement, and we advertised for the job, and the person we hired is with us tonight, Mr. Thomas Ramick. He's been with us almost 3 weeks, I believe, or a better part of a month. He's our new director of the street department, so I'm going to ask Mr. Ramick to stand so everybody can see him. This is Mr. Tom Ramick, who comes to the street department with a background from Liberty Utilities. So let's welcome him to the city of Pine Bluff. I told him to make sure he gets ready for the bad weather because we're predicted to have a rough winter. So we just talked about that. Make sure we have the salt and the plows and everything ready for that work. And he's hitting the ground coordinating to fill some of the potholes and to make the streets better than what he found them. That's his goal. Right, Mr. Ramick? All right. Want to announce that on November 15th, we will have a resource and employment fair. The event is scheduled for 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on that Wednesday at the Pine Bluff Convention Center. This is a free event and it's open to the public. There are over 50 registered employers and resource providers scheduled to participate in this event. Additionally, as part of the fair, there will also be an ABCs of Starting a New Business workshop. The workshop starts at 11 a.m. Registration is required. And one thing I'm happy to say is that part of this employment fair will include hiring employees for the new Chick-fil-A. We met with them today, and they are on target for opening. That opening date is November 30th.
Ooh, yes.
So I know a lot of you are waiting for the opening of our new Chick-fil-A right there off exit 43. They're already accepting applications. And do you want to know how many applications they have already received?
100.
Over 900.
Ooh.
Wow.
So they're sifting through those to get the best ones so that they can get the training started. They're going to be hiring, I think he told me 115 out of that 900. So that's a good pool of employees, building our employee base here in the city. The annual Christmas tree lighting ceremony will take place on the front lawn at City Hall on, I believe that's a Sunday. Lee, is that right? Sunday? Sunday, November 26, 2023, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. There will be hot chocolate, a petting zoo, and many other activities to celebrate this joyous occasion. Mistletoe Magic Christmas Parade will take place after that. That's that next Thursday on November 30th, 2023 at 5:30 p.m. The lineup will begin at 4:45 in the Plaza Hotel parking lot. For more information, contact Mary Liddell at 870-643-2383.
And Mayor, that first one,
I'm sorry?
that's the number one on the
I know.
announcements.
I'm going back to that.
You going back? Okay.
Yes, I'm going back to that. Did you have a question before I get to number one?
I wanted to make an announcement, but I'll wait till you finish.
Okay, number one, just is an announcement to let you know, City Hall will be closed Friday, November 10th, in observance of Veterans Day. Veterans Day on the calendar, I think, is on that Saturday, the 11th. Yes.
And so I forgot to mention it earlier during my report, but I am excited to say that the title has been signed between Braves and the city for the Ward 3 Park. So we're moving forward with that. And then the area, we were concerned about some of the area, the blight that surrounds the park. And so I did reach out to 6th District Circuit Court Juvenile, system for some assistance in that. And so she has forwarded it to Reverend Barnes, and hopefully we can get that area added on to the list. And so we get some cleanup around there, around abandoned houses and abandoned lots there.
Very good, very good. Thank you, Councilmember Frazier. Those are our announcements for this evening. We're going to move into our, we need to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
These are our public speakers. That's it for tonight?
Second.
Yes. Okay. For the record, we have a film crew. They're doing a documentary on Pine Bluff.
Oh,
I think
okay.
they're here out of Chicago, and I've told them that we're going to put them out of this building if this is not a positive documentary. We want Pine Bluff to be the best city in America to live in, not the opposite. Amen to that,
Amen.
audience?
Amen.
All right. And they assured us that that's what they are doing. So can you all introduce yourselves? Can one of you be a spokesperson? There's a microphone right over there.
A microphone? Hi, everyone.
Hey.
So we were sent down here from a production company based out of Chicago. They had done their first documentary on entrepreneurship, and they kind of shadowed this ultra-rich guy up in Chicago who made his money on truck stops, real estate, whatever people make money on these days. And he wanted to make another one and build on that success. And he had seen in the news, basically, that Pine Bluff is, unfortunately, has a lot of room to grow up, and is in a place where, a lot of people are coming here with new ideas for entrepreneurship. So we're here to film the city council meeting, especially ahead of the go forward vote, just so we have that footage in case it does play a role. But really, it's very early in the discovery process, and the story's still unfolding. So we're here to learn, we're here to meet people. And yeah, it's me, some of my friends who we've produced films in the past, and we're being sent down here from a company in Chicago. No questions.
Excuse me, what's the name of the production company?
It is Shed Films.
Shed?
Shed Films, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Okay? We have 9 speakers speaking to non-agenda items today,
Mayor.
so I'm sorry.
I
I'm
have
sorry.
to be someone. May I be excused after this point?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Okay, adjourn. We did not adjourn.
Oh, we didn't get the second.
I second it.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right, we have 9 speakers, so each speaker will have 2 minutes this evening. I'm sorry. Okay. Our first speaker is Lola Johnson, and Ms. Johnson wants to speak on a crime-free lifestyle. She's speaking for a crime-free lifestyle.
Mayor Washington, to the City
Can you
Council.
pull the mic down just a
Okay. Can you all hear me better? No, not yet? How about this? Not good at this.
Don't count that against her.
Please don't. Please don't count any of this against me. To our Mayor Washington and the City Council, thank you for allowing me a couple of minutes to emphasize my concerns, my personal experiences here lately. I am a person that's born and raised in this city, so I definitely remember all of the wonderful things as a child growing up and how vibrant our city was throughout the year and the businesses downtown, and then also very pleased to see the revival in so many different areas that is going on now too in our city. So unfortunately, I hate to take a negative stance or bring up a negative concern, but it's one that I know you all can handle. I have experienced some issues with crime over the last few years that I've had to make several police reports concerning personal property damage to a resident's property on site at that location, and also electronic issues with the electronic cybercrime type issues. And I haven't gotten the feedback that yet, because I'm still hoping that it will happen, and that's why I wanted to make sure to put it on you all's mind too, coming from a resident. The type of feedback that I need and expect from our police department, our public safety teams. So I guess you can say I'm here too to speak as a proponent for if it takes more cops, more people in uniform, more equipment, please help them to get those things because I think a year is too long to go and experience some of the type of events that I experienced. At this time when things started, I had an elderly parent at the house who, lifetime resident also, for the most part, lived here in Pine Bluff. And it's very upsetting and very concerning when your elderly parent cannot rest and be concerned too about some things that are going on in the house, outside the house, of course with our adult child. And that's not what we expect, and I know that's not what Pine Bluff is about. This is a place where many people over the years have come to retire even too, and people who have been here for a lifetime. So I expect that whether you're a baby to you're 100, to be able to live that good life, peaceful life in your home for as long as you want to and are able to. I expect that when I come back, which I did in 2017, that I be able to, within a reasonable time, be able to find well-paying jobs, or at least be considered for those well-paying jobs based on my education, based on my experience, and based on my ability
Ms.
to be able
Johnson,
to convey that information.
let's
I'm running
wrap
out of
it up.
time, Anna.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay.
Time is up.
Thank you so much for your time. Please do what you... The area is, I guess not to get my specific, but off of 13th between Hazel and Blake Street.
Okay, gotcha.
So thank you for your time, each one of you, to hear that. Have a good evening.
Ms. Johnson, our police chief is back there. I'd like for you to connect with her to maybe she can help you address some of your concerns.
Great. Thank you,
Okay,
Mayor Washington.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay. Our next speaker is Ernestine Smothers. We don't know her. She didn't leave any information. Is Miss Smothers here? Ernestine Smothers. Okay. Douglas Allen. Mr. Douglas Allen wants to speak on ditches and culverts. Douglas Allen, not here. Irene Holcomb. Council Member Emeritus, Ms. Irene Holcomb. She's speaking to the Go Forward Tax Initiative, and she's speaking for. While she's coming to the mic, Ms. Johnson, I heard you say you'd like for us to have the dollars for the police department and first responders to have for the equipment and whatever they might need to fight crime, is what you said. So with that said, we'd like to encourage everybody to go out tomorrow. Early voting starts for the 3/8 sales tax to help that public safety department have the revenue, the resources that they need to be the strong department that we need to fight crime and provide safety. Irene Holcomb.
Good evening, Mayor and this august body. When I woke up this morning, I said, thank you, Lord, for waking me up and that I'm still here. Then I said, I thank you that I live in a country where I'm free to speak. There's a freedom of speech. Tonight I want to speak for particularly public safety. And I'm for all of the go forward, but if we don't have public safety, we won't have a city. So I want to speak for that. I know you hear me say this all the time. Over 35 years ago, I was elected to this great body. I cracked a glass ceiling. I'm proud to say that I was the first African American female to sit on this council, and I came from a little town that Floyd Donald always say oil timer, but it's all timer. So I was just proud to do that, and because I came from a little pig trail, and I think the city was about 100 years old, and my mother said, "Well, this city's 100 years old." And I'm proud of my daughter. She's the first African American female to sit on the council. Now, what I really want to speak for is the first responders, the firemen and the policemen. The firefighters have endorsed the tax. I heard the fire chief on the radio this morning. I have great respect for the fire chief and even greater respect for the police chief. First African American female police chief. First African American female police chief to move up in the ranks. We had one here. But when I left here, I was chairman of the Public Safety Committee. And public safety is important. Whether you like Go Forward or not, whether you like me or not, if we don't have safety, we'll have no city. If my shack catches on fire, I want the firemen to come. If my shack gets broken into, I want the policemen to come. It doesn't matter if you live in the ghetto or if you live on Country Club Lane. You want the same service. So I am campaigning hard for public safety, because if we don't have public safety, we don't have a city. The city will be in ruins. It'll go up in flames, so to speak. Well, as I said 35 years ago, I was really campaigning, and I had a pep in my step. But now I'm campaigning on a cane and stomping on a stick.
All right.
But I'm still campaigning. I lost my step, but I still have the fire in my belly. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Holcomb. Our next speaker is Don Harris. Don Harris is speaking, this topic is Go Forward Initiative, and he's speaking for.
Thank you, Mayor Washington. I prepared this document a couple of 3 weeks ago, and I'm just going to work off of this regarding Go Forward Pine Bluff. First off, what the 5/8 cent sales tax does, what it means economically to the citizens of the city. For every $10 we spend in Pine Bluff, wherever we're spending it, 6 cents of that $10 goes towards the tax. For every $10, 6 cents. For every $100 we spend, 63 cents goes towards the tax. As a result of these small individual investments, we create a $30 million investment in Pine Bluff. The result is better futures for the city, better futures for the people who live here. In review, what Go Forward has accomplished during the past 6 years: easy qualification for home ownership via the Alice Loan Program. We've removed close to 200 blighted houses from our city, completed the Carl Reedus Aquatic Center, improvements to the Convention Center and Regional Park, downtown area improvements with much more to come, a go-kart track on Harding Street in construction as we speak. 38 more teachers have been certified in Pine Bluff schools with private Go Forward Pine Bluff money. 5 teachers have achieved master's degrees as a result of private funds. Also in process, as we continue going forward, more and greater investments in the education of our children. $24 million Marriott Hotel next to the Convention Center, $7 million in retail and restaurant plaza downtown Main Street, a state-of-the-art movie center coming soon, tremendous opportunities for more and more businesses to thrive. More jobs increase the tax base, better streets, better sidewalks, and much more to come. With Go Forward, everyone can win. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Our next speaker is Ms. Classy Green.
Good evening to our mayor, city council members, elected officials, chief of police, chief fire chief, and ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for allowing me this time. We know that early voting starts tomorrow for a major issue that will affect our city. In 2017, Pine Bluff made a choice for positive change. We chose to invest together in our community, our neighborhoods, our infrastructure, and it's working. Everyone here looks so good and fine. Don't look like you missed that money you paid out. Thank you for your support. Now, everyone has an opinion. All of us have an opinion. But let's support the facts about Go Forward and the initiative and the things that have been done for our city. Y'all, I'm 77, so I had to write down these things. I ain't good as Miss Holcomb. Go Forward has brought more than $31 million to our community in taxes. Our beautiful Carl Reedus Aquatic Center needed help to be completed. And guess what? Go Forward provided the $4 million to help complete it. Amen. Come on, y'all. One Pine Bluff working together. Our convention center has been upgraded, hosted King Cotton and other first-class events. And when we get our Pine Bluff Convention Center hotel, teams and people won't have to travel all across town. Renovation of the community center to enhance the education and experiences of our youth. If we want businesses and people to invest in our city, we must clean up, fix up, and support what we have. Over 175 dilapidated buildings have been torn down. And so we thank you for that. Our basic population here, you all, is 40,000. So some people didn't support the casino, but it's here and a great asset to our city of Pine Bluff. The state of Arkansas, we are blessed to have businesses here. Schools, Central Maloney, Evergreen, Tyson, Mill, UAPB, Sea Arc, Pine Bluff High, Whitehall, Dollaway, Friendship, JRMC, and others. UAMS has built a building and Cartide. Let's keep going forward. We know how important and necessary our police and fire is. They are always ready to serve. And thank you all for your service. In closing, I want to say again, Galatians 6:9, write it down. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Thank you. Let's keep going forward, Pine Bluff. Everybody say check, check. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Our next speaker is Miss Lizzie Hill. Ms. Lizzie Hill is speaking for the Go Forward tax.
Good evening, everybody. Mayor.
Good evening.
City Council, all that's present. I would like to take it a different direction tonight. And what I have to say is, and what has been given to me, because I have really been truly praying for this city, and I've been praying for Pine Bluff and the people in it. Out of all the negativity that have come out of it, this is what I was given. God is in control. Man can't do nothing without him. Nothing. So what I'm saying, this tax is not about This tax is about this city. It's about us. It's about me. It's about you. So if you don't vote for this tax, then you're not voting for yourself. But remember one thing. I don't appreciate politics into my livelihood. This is our city. And politics shouldn't be a part of this tax. If you're going to run for something, but leave it out of this city tax. This tax is not for you to use God and do whatever you got to do. So we need to get out here and vote for this tax. Now, one other thing I'm supposed to say, and I'm hoping I'm going to get it right. When you vote, vote your conscience. Don't vote because she my friend. Don't vote because he don't want it. You vote your own conscience because you the one got to stand before God for yourself. And if it don't come out, but I do believe God is in control. I know God is in control. But let him be control of your life and bring this city back. Let's keep going forward and forward and forward. It ain't broke, so let's not try to fix it, okay? Good night.
Thank you, Ms. Hill. Our next speaker is Mr. John Finley, and he is speaking to perjury in the Code Enforcement Office. Against.
Hi, my name's
evening.
John Fenley, and I feel like I need to address this go forward issue because everybody else seems to be speaking for it. It's the same 20, 30 people that have their hand in the cookie jar anyway, so I don't think their voice really is objective on it, and I think it's absolutely a miscarriage of justice that it went back on the ballot after the city voted it down in May, which is absolutely ridiculous for you guys to put it back on the ballot again. After the city voted against it, that's worse than taxation without representation that we fought our War of Independence for. To pretend that you care about what the voters say, but then just throw it back in our faces. But I'm here to talk about something even more important, which is perjury. There are officials that work for the city that are sending out notices that have sworn affidavits that are false. That's perjury. It's a felony, carries a sentence of 5 years in prison, right? And it seems to be standard operating procedure because when I confronted Mr. Lockett about it, he said, "Oh, it's no big deal." Like it wasn't a big deal. But you know what? It is a big deal. When you lie under oath, it's a big deal. And something needs to be done in the city because I don't believe that I can trust anything that comes out of this city. I don't believe I can trust anything that comes out of these people's mouths. And that's what I have to say about it. Something needs to happen. This city is not being run correctly. Why don't I leave?
Thank you, Mr. Finley.
I have as much right to be here as anybody else.
Thank you, Mr. Finley. And our final speaker is Mr. Will Jenkins.
Check.
That was William Jenkins.
Mr. Finley, I'll buy you a ticket.
I heard that you had a gift for me, that you had something for me.
Ladies and
Mr.
gentlemen,
Finley.
hey, it's my time now. Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. The initiatives to be completed once the tax passes. Movie theater construction, workforce and small business development, parks and recreation upgrades, neighborhood redevelopment, single and multi-family housing construction, housing for the homeless population, strengthening code enforcement and blight removal, UAPB and CARC partnerships, retain and recruit officers and firefighters. Early voting starts November 7th. Election day is November 14th. Please go out and let your voice be heard. Go forward, Pine Bluff.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Pastor Matt Mosler. our final speaker.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Alderman Holcomb, can you hear me? Oh, he's gone. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I moved to Pine Bluff in 2017. And when we were touring the city looking for a place to plant a church, we drove down Main Street. And at the time, there was a portion of the building that had collapsed. And we had a pile of bricks that sat in the middle of the road with police tape around it. And for the next several months, as my wife and I came down to the city, that pile of bricks remained. And to me, it was a symbol of where we were as a city at that time. There was a need, but it was someone else's job to meet that need. There was a palpable lack of ownership in our community. But more than that, there was no sense of direction and no sense of hope. And then the Go Forward program was passed, and I have seen more positive momentum in Pine Bluff in the last 5 or 6 years than I'd seen in the last 2 decades as a reporter. And look, I love y'all. I do. I love every one of you, and I thank you for your service to the city. And I'm going to love you, even if we have some differences on this issue. But I think it's hard to argue that we were better off 5 years ago than we are today. And I know Go Forward has some issues, and I agree there needs to be more transparency, and those issues need to be addressed, but not at the expense of this momentum. We got to work together on this issue, folks, and we need to build on this momentum. And the thing I love most about this city, and I get asked this quite a bit, but the thing I love most about this city is our sense of unity. Seriously. I mean, those who stayed in Pine Bluff during the downturn, during the downtimes, they stayed for a reason. They stayed because they love this city, and they want to be a part of its renewal, and they believe in its rich history and believe even more strongly in its bright future, and they're willing to invest in it, and we have. We started a program a few years back, right after Go Forward, called Home Again Pine Bluff, where we tear down to the studs these old dilapidated homes, and we rebuild them as brand new homes, and we make them available to families who have the potential now to achieve home ownership. And to date, we've rebuilt 6 houses. We have 4 more in process right now, and it's a process that would not be possible without the help and the energy of Go Forward. None of us at Home Again take a salary. None of us benefit financially. In fact, rebuilding a house and selling it for half of its appraised value is a terrible business model. But we're not building houses, we're building families and future and hope. Before the most recent vote, we had grants and funding committed for us to build 34 houses at Bel Air and Auburn Drives. And the goal was to offer certified teachers and police officers a $25,000 grant to purchase a home as long as they agree to serve or teach in the city for at least 3 years. Some of that grant money was coming from a Go Forward program. But since the vote, we've had to postpone our plans, and those lots remain vacant. And without renewed vision and renewed hope, there will continue to be vacant lots. Look, we are not going to stop working, but without Go Forward, our work is going to be much harder. But unlike 2017, there is now a sense of optimism. There's work being done downtown. There's a generator, there's a library, there's an aquatic center, King Cotton is back, there are block parties, and a Chick-fil-A is coming, although I think my prayers had a lot more to do with that than Go Forward. But all of those things have generated optimism. It's generated hope, and I know our adversary hates optimism. There's a lot of money and power and influence to be gained by keeping people hopeless and in poverty. And we have to stop helping the enemy destroy us. Fix the things that need to be fixed, adjust the things that need to be adjusted, but do not do away with something that is working and replace it with something that has a history of dysfunction. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, the meeting has adjourned. We don't have you on the list, but if anybody wants to stay and hear Mr. Brian Thomas, come on up.
Mayor, council members, I apologize if we didn't get on the list tonight, but I appreciate your time and opportunity to speak. I wanted to really come and I represent support for Go Forward, but from the perspective of one of the largest employers in our area. I'm Brian Thomas. I'm President and CEO of Jefferson Regional. I've been a part of our hospital system now for over 18 years, even stretching back all the way to the late 90s. I'm also original committee member for the Go Forward focus groups that we started back before the vote. Joined the board as a founding board member, and I'm still serving in that capacity today. Jefferson Regional, as you guys know, has evolved to one of the largest employers in Southeast Arkansas. We have over 1,550 employees, plus another 200 plus or minus contract agents that work on behalf of the organization to serve the patients that we serve each year. We have an annual expense budget over $200 million, and over the past several years, we've worked tirelessly to improve a health system that's worthy to represent this community. And in fact, we offer patient satisfaction scores that top most Little Rock hospitals today. Many people don't know that. In addition, we have very high quality satisfaction scores with our patients. I'll be brief, but basically how we support our hospital supports Go Forward is that we support that both financially and also for its purpose. Financially, we've been a corporate partner since day one, contributing towards the private contributions. Having a community that is strong and vibrant is the only means in which we have the necessary ability to recruit a lot of the talent that you can imagine we need to support our hospital operations. We recruit talent from all over the country. In today's world, we recruit talent from all over the world. People see what's going on in our community, and it truly does matter what's happening in the city of Pine Bluff. We have people that ask what is happening when they're coming in for recruiting episodes. They're asking what's going on in the community and what is the city doing for itself to improve its stance. So despite all the challenges y'all probably have read and heard about with healthcare financing right now, we as a hospital are going to continue our financial support for this very important measure. Before Go Forward, there was simply no plan but downward progression. As sad as that is, that's the reality. We cannot guarantee a successful healthcare organization for tomorrow if our city chooses to go back to the place where we were just a few years ago. As Matt said, that's not an option. I think everyone can agree that we're seeing a lot of solid focus and certainly a lot of progress. And from a perspective of a large business partner, when you think about it, for what the boost and progress that the city receives in return for a 5/8 cent sales tax, to the earlier comments, it's an obvious economic decision to make when it comes to continuing this. I'm hopeful that we will continue with a true plan that results in real progress, and I thank you for the opportunity to address you all tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Everybody make sure you go out and vote early. We'll see you at our next meeting. Thank you.